Well, part of it's now. Part of it's out now. There's an EP that's out right now that has Christmas Spirit, which is a new song. And then a couple of classic Christmas songs. But I had the idea to do a Christmas project way too late in the year to be able to do a whole album, because it takes time, you know. So we just decided to put out the 5 songs that I could record now and then do a whole album next year. Yeah, well, that's kind of how it started. Was, you know, my sons and I, every year for about the last, I don't know, 7 years or so, one of my wife's Christmas presents every year is a recording that my sons do, and I produce it and arrange it with them, and then they sing everything. And as they've gotten older, they've all become better and better musicians. Certainly better singers, but they've all improved in their musicianships, and now they play a lot of the instruments on it. And so when we were recording these songs over the years, I found myself really loving these Christmas songs in a different way. So I just went in and basically erased everything on the tracks that we did except their background vocals, and re-recorded new instruments and music, but kept their vocals. And we sang and recorded to that. So, because my kids are all kind of all over the place. I have one lives here, one lives there. So I kept their vocals so we could have them on the record as well. My sons are coming into the music business at a time when it's, you know, the hardest time to try and make a living in the music business. I can only support them and encourage them, and but I can't really open doors for them or help them because they have to do it on their own. And it's a very complicated thing, because I want them to do whatever makes them happy. And if, you know, they really have a passion for music, and of course I want them to do that. But because I know all the bad stuff about the music business, it's almost like watching your kid running to the edge of a cliff, and you want to go, no, stop. But you know, I have to let them jump. I have to let them try, because they might really succeed and do really well. Dilemma that I used to have, which was that I started a family pretty young, when my career was still really kind of going up, and so I had to make rules about my career, because I just never felt like I wanted to fit my family life into my career. I wanted to fit my career into my family life, which meant that my family and my time with my family came first. And if that made my career suffer, then so be it. Which meant that there were a lot of shows I didn't do. There was a lot of work time that I said no to. That before having kids, I just said yes to everything. I would stay on the road constantly. I would work great because it's fun. I really love what I do. But I really didn't want to miss important moments with my kids. So I started to say no a lot more. And it did affect my career, but I don't regret that at all. There's an expression that I love, which is that success is when preparation and opportunity collide. And I think that that's really true for me. You know, I worked really hard. I learned my craft. I sacrificed. I paid my dues. I just kept, every time a wall would hit me in the head, I'd back up and I'd sort of clear my head, and then I'd go forward again. And that's the kind of personality you have to make it in the music business. But if I hadn't had the series of events that happened to me along the way, which could have, any of them could have changed my course, then I don't know. Because there's a lot of people I know who are really driven, and way more talented than me, and they don't find success because they don't also have the opportunity part. But I mean, it starts with, I was born to, the parents that I was born to, that's the first opportunity, is that aside from being great parents, they were musical, you know, they were musicians, and so I grew up in a musical family, so that was lucky number one. When I was a teenager, getting a phone call from Lionel Richie saying, hey, you know, I really think you're good. Huge, huge, huge moment in my story. Moving to California, when I did, running into producers like David Foster, Michael Omartian, guys that liked what I did and said, hey, come over and help me with what we're working on. And all of those things were, they were a map to success. Even though, you know, along the way, David Foster, for example, told me I'd never make it. I mean, he liked having me around to sing background vocals and to help out. But when it came to me being a singer or an artist, he told me I'd never make it. So, it's his opinion. You know, luckily he was wrong. He's been wrong about a lot of things. But even that was part of the map, because, and I don't want to give him credit for this, but the truth is that when he said that to me, there was a part of me that was like, oh yeah? Well, watch this. It was like it made me stronger. It made me want to prove him wrong. And the same was true for a lot of record companies who rejected me, or publishing companies who said my songs were no good, or, you know, I'm not the kind of person that takes criticism and goes in the corner and cries. I'm the kind of person that wants to take that criticism and literally shove it down your throat. You know, I mean, that's just sort of the way I am. The only regret I have is my hair in the 80s. Because it was horrible. Did you see it? Terrible. And it proved that I did not have any friends, because if I had friends, they would have said, dude, you can't go out like that. Yeah. Well, it went from big to really long, and then I just cut it like in the early 90s. I just got tired. I have to admit, there was a little bit of, you know, Samson and Delilah. There was a little bit of that. I thought if I cut my hair, either I can't sing anymore, or, you know, seriously. I mean, I was very frightened. Like, what's going to happen if I cut all my hair off? You know, if I would end up talking like this or something. I don't know. But it was good. Once I did it, it was like, oh, why didn't I do this 5 years ago?